What's up, guys? We're going to be changing out the driver's side front CV axle shaft on this 2012 Camry Hybrid. This thing will be pretty easy to do, and I'm going to give you the rundown on all the steps on how to do it. Today we are using parts from Auto Shack. We use Auto Shack parts all the time, have really good luck with them, and the prices are fantastic. So check link in the description. First things first, you got to get it jacked up, and you're going to need to take the wheel off. So 21mm socket, 5 wheel nuts. Let's get at it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this the easiest way possible by removing the least amount possible. And what I'm gonna try to do is we're gonna undo the ball joint at the bottom, and we'll take the brake caliper off. And then once we get the axle nut out, we can just move this whole assembly sort of off to the side and slip the axle out the back and then pop it out that way. And that way we don't need to undo the strut, we don't need to undo the tie rod end, we don't need to undo the sway bar link, even though this one, the sway bar link's missing. But yeah, should just be able to get away with ball joint, take the brake caliper off and undo the axle nut, and we can leave the brakes on. At least I think. We're gonna try that this way. All right guys, 14mm bolts for the front caliper. Take those out. And then we're gonna do the ball joint as well. So let's do 17mm for the ball joint. We've got 2 nuts and 1 bolt. You can see I've already got them loosened off here. And then, okay, well, you're gonna want some sort of a hanger for the brake caliper, because we're going to need to hang that up. Okay, let's get this brake caliper off. And we're going to hang it up. I'm going to try to do this without removing this bolt, but I might have to remove that bolt. We'll take brake pads off so they don't fall and hit the ground. Then we're going to push down on the control arm and hopefully get the ball joint to come out. You can just kind of swivel that thing out of the road. We're going to take this axle nut off now, and normally you'd stick a punch in this slot right here and unstake it. You'll notice that it's staked downwards so that if it were to ever come loose, it can't physically just back itself off. You're gonna need a 30mm 12-point socket, and let's buzz this off. Okay, we need a big gun. All right, the real gun did it. And then we got to make sure that the axle is free. So the axle has splines on it, and it splines to the inside of the wheel bearing. And we just want to push this thing and make sure that it's free and sliding on there, so that when we pull this outwards, it slides out of the axle. So you can use a center punch and a hammer, or a mallet, or a dead blow hammer. Don't use a regular hammer, otherwise you'll mushroom this over. And actually it doesn't really matter too much, I guess, because it tapers outwards and we're replacing the axle anyways. But you know, if it's really stuck in there, you could mushroom this out and then it's not going to go through the hole and you're just going to have troubles. All right, I'm going to cheat and use the air hammer. All right, and then that's pretty much it. You just want to make sure that it's free, and it's free right now. I can move this thing around so it's ready to come out. I just need to see if there's enough slack between the body and the strut where the ABS wire and the brake line go. As we're about to pull this thing out, we want to make sure that we've got room. Which we do, so that's good. Okay, now we're ready to pretty much take this axle out of here. Now, the service manual states that you're supposed to drain the transmission first, but we're just not going to do that. We do have a video on previous gen Camry, how to drain and fill the transmission, because there is a bit of a procedure for it. We might just run through the manual just to like give you guys the rundown, but I'm not going to show you how to refill the transmission. What you could do though is just put some sort of a catch pan underneath and catch the fluid that comes out, if any does come out. And then you know exactly how much to pump back in. Forewarning, there is no dipstick on these things. There's only like a fill plug. And I'll have to check and see where it is on this thing. But normally it's right in here, except, yeah, it might be underneath of this cover. I see a spot. I'll have to look in the service manual, but it's on the side of the transmission and not on the top. So you will need like some sort of a funnel that goes and curves down. So, okay, before I pop this thing out, I just wanted to run over something quick with you, and that is this axle has a circlip on the end of it here. This is the side that goes into the transmission. And you'll notice that there's an open slot on that circlip. So when you're installing this thing, you want that open slot facing the ground. And you do that so that it rests in that slot of the axle nicely. And if you had it the other way around where it was up, you'll see how much that circlip droops down, and the mesh between the gear and the axle sliding together, that gear can catch that circlip, and sometimes it doesn't compress it and it rather just chews off the circlip. So very important that you have that open slot facing the ground. Besides that, we're just going to take this axle nut off that comes with it, because we don't want to have that on there yet. And I have taken a ratchet strap and ratchet strap the knuckle out of the road as far as I can go without undoing these. If you need more room or wanted more room, you just simply remove this bolt right here, which is going to undo this bracket that holds the brake line for the caliper and the ABS wire. You can also undo this plastic clip. That's going to buy you a little bit more room. And there's a 10mm bolt that's up in here for the ABS wire. And that's pretty much all the room you're going to get. But I think we should be able to manage without taking those off. So I've got myself a big pry bar. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip the pry bar in behind the axle shaft between the transmission and the axle. And it's going to kind of look like this, if you can see that. There is also slots on the axle where you could stick the pry bar to use a hammer and hammer it. But basically all we got to do now is just pop the axle out of the transmission. Pretty simple. Just got to get under it. I'm going to go grab a mallet and see if I can give it a whack. Okay, we have uncoupled that now. So I'm just going to quickly swap this out. Going to probably puke a bunch of fluid. Stick this one in here with the open thing, circlip facing the ground. And we just carefully feed that in. And then all we got to do now is just use the mallet. Just to drive that in there. It's up to you whether you want to replace the seal or not. You can see we probably lost about 100 milliliters, maybe a little bit less of fluid. So I'll check and see, and I'll tell you what fluid spec this thing calls for. I think it's WS fluid, but it does lose a bit of fluid, so we'll top that back up. But you just basically hammer that thing in until it bottoms out, and you'll hear the sound of the axle once it bottoms out. Okay, so now I'm going to take my ratchet strap off. We're just going to get ready to put this through. So we're just going to carefully pull this over. And just got to line the axle shaft up with the hole in the wheel hub. And you can spin the disc to line the splines up to get it to come through. And then Now all we need to do is try to get this ball joint to go back in, basically. So a big pry bar will help you, or if you have maybe a ratchet strap or something like that to push down. I'm just going to try to use a pry bar. Maybe. I might go for one of these. All right, stick the pry bar in there. Might need a smaller ratchet strap. Oh, I can't do it and hold the. All right, let it up a little bit. Yep, let it up. Once you get that thing in there, you just start the nuts and the one bolt. And what I was basically gonna do is just stick that pry bar in there through the hole, and then usually I'll just take a ratchet strap and loop it up in there so that the ratchet strap pulls the bar, and that brings the arm down so that you can then get this ball joint in there. Okay, we'll start the nut. And then we can put our brakes back together now. Start them on like an angle. And you push them in. Same with the back. Then we're going to take our brake caliper. My brake caliper is seized, so I'm gonna have to fight that on there. Get your bolts started. And now we're pretty much just gonna torque everything down. The brake caliper bolts, the little 14mm ones, those are going to get torqued to 25 foot-pounds. And then once we're done that, we're going to torque this axle nut, which is going to get torqued to 217 foot-pounds. And then we have to stake it. Okay, 217. If you had like a big bar, that works really good. Like what I just did, stick it between the studs, up against the disc like so. You could prop it up so it's against the ground instead of having to hold it like I did. Or you could have somebody put their foot on the brake, preferably with the engine running to give you power brakes. And another option, you could jam a screwdriver in between the fins of the disc, but I don't recommend doing that. Screwdriver could break, could fracture the disc. Now we got to stake this thing, except we need to take all this stuff back apart to do some other things on this car, so I'm not going to stake it. But you just basically spin this thing around so that you got access to this, and then you use like a flat punch or a flathead screwdriver or something, and you just knock that down into the groove. Right here, you just punch it down so that, you know, if this were to ever come loose, it just can't physically unthread itself. All right, the ball joint You've got 17mm nuts. There's 2 of them, 55 foot-pounds. And the bolt is also 55 foot-pounds. I don't know why I'm using a swivel socket. I'm just too lazy to go get my regular socket. All right, let's get the wheel on. All right. Wheel goes on. Start all your wheel nuts. Now the book spec is 76 foot-pounds from Toyota. Personally, myself, I do them to 100. And you want to make sure that the surface of the disc and the back mating surface of the wheel are clean and not all rusty and corroded and gross. I didn't clean this one because I have to take all this stuff back apart for another video we're going to make. But make sure yours is clean and hand start all these, and then we're going to torque them down to 100 foot-pounds in a 5-star pattern. We're going to do 2 passes of that, and then afterwards, about 60 miles or 100 kilometers of driving, you should do a wheel retorque and just make sure that, you know, after the wheel is settled, that the wheel nuts are actually still torqued. Okay, you guys, so the hybrid transaxle fluid for your car here is going to be type WS fluid. Now, it says, here's a picture of the side of the transaxle, and you can see here we've got 1 and 2. Those are both plugs. So number 1 is going to be your fill plug, and number 2 is going to be the drain plug. This is pretty nice, actually, compared to Toyota's other transmissions, in the way that all you need to do is remove the fill plug, and then you're just going to add type WS transmission fluid until it is between 0 to 5 millimeters from the bottom lip of the filler plug opening. So you basically add fluid until it starts pouring out. And you don't have to have the engine running. It's just take the plug out, add fluid until it basically starts to trickle out, and then that's it. Now there is like a aluminum gasket that goes in onto the drain plug and the fill plug. So if you take that off, I recommend replacing it. If you decide to reuse it, it might be fine, or it might leak. That drain plug gets torqued to 29 foot-pounds. So not too bad, pretty simple. I think that's pretty much it here. A couple notes, it just says, make sure you're on a level surface, make sure you use genuine ATF type WS, and add fluid slowly. It says if you add it quickly, it might hit internal parts and bounce back, resulting in fluid coming out and, you know, getting all over the place. And I think that's pretty much it. The total fluid amount for the entire transmission calls for 3.7 liters. And yeah, it looks like that's it. So if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Hopefully this video is very helpful. Subscribe, that'll help us out a lot. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the content. We'll see you in the next one, guys.